All right, so you've sent over some really interesting stuff on law and tech in Africa. It's pretty amazing to see, especially with Rwanda. It feels like something big is happening over there.
Yeah, and it's not just a technology thing, right? It's about access to justice, which is a huge issue. I mean, many parts of Africa, especially rural areas, really struggle to get legal services. Digital tools, though, they can bridge that gap and in ways we couldn't have imagined a few years ago.
Right. It's like opening a whole new world. And that's where I think Foja Academy comes in, right? They're all about giving legal professionals the tools to navigate this new world.
Totally. Their Droit 4.0 course, for example, it's not just about teaching lawyers some new software. It's bigger than that. It's about giving them a whole new skill set for this changing legal landscape.
So what are some of these tools and technologies making waves?
Well, both the course and that ebook you sent, they mentioned some game changers. Case management software is big. It helps lawyers stay organized. Then there's AI for document analysis, like with Kira systems. Imagine, instead of spending hours, days even, going through contracts, this AI can analyze tons of documents and find specific clauses, like about liability or payment terms, super fast.
Wow, that's huge. I remember those late nights as a junior lawyer, just buried in paperwork. To think AI could do that in minutes. Revolutionary.
And it can really change the game for access to justice, too. More efficiency means lawyers can take on more clients, maybe even offer services cheaper.
So it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Efficiency for lawyers and better access to justice for everyone. Speaking of, Rwanda keeps coming up as a legal tech hub. What is it about Rwanda that makes it so good for this kind of innovation?
Well, their government is really proactive about technology, very forward-thinking. Their Smart Rwanda initiative is a great example of how they support a tech-friendly environment.
So they're laying the groundwork.
Exactly. And it's not just policy. They're putting money into digital infrastructure, internet access, better ICT capabilities. These are the building blocks for any kind of tech change, especially in law.
So it's that combination, the government and the digital infrastructure, that makes Rwanda a leader.
Right. But it's not just the government. AFSI talks about entrepreneurship, too, individuals in legal tech.
And that's where it gets really interesting, right? The ebook had so many innovative business ideas.
Absolutely. We're talking virtual law firms, online legal consultations, even platforms that connect lawyers with clients across Africa. So many possibilities.
Imagine a platform connecting, say, intellectual property lawyers in Senegal with tech startups in Kenya. It could break down so many barriers.
That's the beauty of it. It's not just about convenience. It's about bridging the justice gap. It's about making sure everyone has access to good legal advice no matter where they are.
I love that. But let's be real for a second. For many lawyers, this could be a big change, maybe even scary. What would you say to those hesitant about going digital?
I get it. It's natural to hesitate. But FOSHA gives a really clear roadmap for this. They break it down into steps, starting with looking at your current work and seeing where tech can help.
So you don't have to throw everything out and start over.
Not at all. It's about using technology to make what you already do even better.
Okay, that's much less scary.
Right. Then you can choose the right tools and learn how to use them.
So no buying fancy software and hoping for the best.
Go away. It's about making smart decisions for your practice and your clients.
And that's where lifelong learning comes in, right?
Yes. New technology means you need to adapt and learn constantly. Lawyers have always had to stay ahead of the curve. This is just the next step.
And you don't have to do it alone, right? You said FOSHA offers more than just courses.
Right. There are online tutorials, forums to connect with other lawyers, even mentoring programs.
That sense of community is so important, it makes change easier. Before we get into choosing the right tools, let's talk ethics. This rapid advancement in legal tech, it must raise some ethical questions, right?
You're right. That's crucial to think about. While technology offers great opportunities, we also need to address the ethical challenges that come with it.
Exactly. So let's discuss some of those challenges.
Well, one of the biggest concerns is bias in AI, right? If the algorithms are trained on data that's already biased, reflecting existing inequalities, then they could just perpetuate those biases instead of helping to fix them.
It's like they say, garbage in, garbage out. If the data is flawed, the results will be too.
Exactly. So we need to make sure the data used to train legal AI is diverse, representative, and most importantly, free from the biases that we see in the traditional legal systems.
So it's a huge responsibility for everyone, not just the people making the algorithms. Lawyers using these tools need to be aware of the biases and be ready to challenge them.
Absolutely. We can't just blindly trust an algorithm because it claims to be objective. Critical thinking is key here and really understanding the technology.
So it's not enough to just know how to use the tools. You have to understand their limitations too.
Right, and that leads us to another big issue: data privacy and security. Legal tech often deals with really sensitive information, so cybersecurity is crucial. We need to protect that data from breaches and misuse.
Especially with cybercrime on the rise everywhere.
Absolutely, and that's where regulation and ethical guidelines are so important. We need clear rules for developing and using legal tech responsibly and ethically.
So it's about finding that balance, encouraging innovation, but also making sure it's ethical.
Exactly. We don't want to lose sight of fundamental rights and values just because we're excited about efficiency and technology.
It's true, it feels like we're in uncharted territory. Technology is moving so fast, sometimes it's hard to think about the
And
consequences.
that's why these conversations are so important, bringing ethics to the forefront. And it's great to see organizations like FOSHA actually include ethics in their training.
It reminds us that technology is a tool, and we decide how to use it and what impact it has.
Exactly. And that brings us back to why legal professionals need more than just technical skills. They need critical thinking skills and ethical awareness to use these tools responsibly.
It's about making sure technology serves justice, not the other way around. Now, going back to something we touched on earlier, the amazing entrepreneurial spirit in African legal tech. The ebook had some really insightful examples of new business models in this space.
Absolutely. It's such a dynamic field right now with people creating new solutions. They're really tailoring their ideas to the specific needs and opportunities in Africa.
One thing that caught my eye was virtual law firms, how those work,
Yeah.
and the advantages they offer.
Right. So virtual law firms use technology to work remotely, no traditional office needed. This allows lawyers to connect with clients anywhere and have more flexibility in their work-life balance.
That flexibility is a big deal for many lawyers, especially those just starting out.
It is, and it can be a game changer for clients in remote areas who might not have easy access to legal help otherwise.
It's like we're democratizing access to legal expertise, breaking down those geographical barriers.
Exactly, and this model often goes hand in hand with online legal marketplaces. These platforms connect clients with lawyers who have the exact expertise they need, no matter where they are.
Like those online marketplaces for freelancers, but for legal services.
Perfect analogy. It's about making it easier for clients to find the right lawyer for their needs.
Now, I'm wondering, what are some of the challenges these legal tech entrepreneurs face? I imagine funding could be a big one.
You're absolutely right. Funding is a major hurdle for tech startups in Africa, and legal tech is no different.
It's a shame because there are so many innovative ideas and passionate people in this field.
I agree. But even with the challenges, there's a lot of optimism and determination. We're starting to see more investors who recognize the potential of African tech, including legal tech.
That's good to hear. It sounds like there's a lot of opportunity for those who are willing to take the risk.
Absolutely. And beyond funding, there are other challenges like infrastructure, regulations that aren't clear, and the digital literacy gap. But even with these obstacles, the progress being made is impressive.
It really shows the ingenuity and resilience of the African tech scene.
Absolutely. And it's exciting to think about how this could transform things, not just for lawyers, but for access to justice and economic development across the continent.
It feels like we're seeing the beginning of a massive change, and it's inspiring to see people leading the way. Now, before we wrap up, I want to touch on one more thing about this digital transformation. What skills and qualities will be essential for legal professionals in this new landscape?
That's a great question to think about. As we've discussed, it's not just about learning how to use a specific software. It's about being adaptable, eager to learn, and willing to embrace new ways of thinking and working.
So lawyers of the future will need both traditional legal expertise and a good understanding of tech.
Exactly. And don't forget about soft skills. Those are more important than ever. Communication, collaboration, problem-solving lawyers will need those even more as AI takes over routine tasks.
So technology is freeing up lawyers to focus on the human side of law, strategic thinking, client relationships, ethical considerations.
I like that way of putting it. So work on those communication skills, your negotiation skills, and build strong relationships.
It seems like the legal professionals who will thrive are those who combine their legal knowledge with tech skills and strong soft skills.
Exactly. And one more thing, adaptability. The legal field will keep changing, so those who can adapt to new technology, regulations, and client needs will be the most successful.
So be open to learning, explore the world of legal tech, build your network, improve those soft skills, and remember this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Well said. And most importantly, never forget why we're doing all this. Technology is here to improve access to justice, to make the legal system fairer and more efficient. Let that be your guiding principle.
What a powerful message to end on. It feels like we've only just begun to explore this exciting and rapidly changing field. But I hope our deep dive has given you a good understanding, some inspiration, and maybe some practical steps to start your own legal tech journey. A huge thank you to you, our expert, for sharing your incredible insights with us today. And to you, our listener, thank you for joining us on the deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those important questions. So we've talked a lot about the what and the why of legal tech in Africa, but now, for anyone listening who's thinking, okay, but where do I fit into all of this? Let's get practical. What are some tangible steps lawyers can take to really embrace this digital shift and thrive in this new world?
It's a great question. And the good news is there are concrete things you can start doing, like today, to get ahead of the curve. I'd say, first and foremost, really embrace that growth mindset we were talking about earlier. Legal tech is constantly evolving, which means there's always something new to learn, a new tool to explore.
It's like that saying, the only constant is change, right? It feels especially true in this field.
Exactly. So commit to being a lifelong learner. Versus courses are fantastic, but they're just the beginning. Look into online tutorials, go to webinars, even connect with legal tech startups in your area. Maybe you could shadow someone for a bit, get some real-world experience whenever you can.
Yeah, that hands-on experience is invaluable.
Yeah.
Reading about AI contract analysis is one thing, but actually using the software is a whole other ballgame, right?
Exactly. And don't be afraid to play around with different platforms a bit, experiment. One of the best things about technology is that you can often try things out, make mistakes even, in a pretty low-stakes environment.
It's about finding what works for you and your specific practice, not just using tech for the sake of it.
Absolutely. Now, beyond the actual tech skills, networking is key. Connect with other legal professionals who are interested in legal tech too. Go to conferences, join online forums, share what you're learning, and learn from what others are doing.
You're right. Just talking to people who are facing the same challenges or who have tried different approaches can be so helpful.
Absolutely. And as you're building that network, don't be shy about reaching out to people who are a little further along in their legal tech journey. Find mentors who can give you advice and support. That can make a huge difference.
Mentorship is so valuable, especially in a field that's changing this quickly. We talked a lot about the tech side, but you mentioned earlier that soft skills are just as important, maybe even more so now.
Oh, absolutely. As technology takes over more of those routine tasks, things like communication, collaboration, and critical thinking become even more crucial for lawyers. You'll need to be able to explain complex legal stuff to clients who might not be tech savvy themselves, work effectively with people across different locations, and really analyze what those AI systems are telling you, not
Yeah.
just take it at face value.
So in a way, technology is pushing lawyers to be even better at the human side of law. The strategy, the client relationships, the ethics.
That's a great way to put it. So hone those communication skills, practice your negotiation tactics, and never underestimate the importance of building strong relationships.
It sounds like the legal professionals who will really thrive in this new world will be the ones who can combine their legal knowledge with a deep understanding of technology and a strong set of soft skills.
Exactly. And if I could add one more thing to that mix, it would be adaptability. This is key. The legal world is going to keep evolving, so the people who can adapt quickly to new technologies, new regulations, new client needs, those are the ones who will be most successful.
So embrace that growth mindset. Be open to learning new things. Experiment with different tools. Build your network. Hone those soft skills. And remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Fantastic advice.
And maybe most importantly, never lose sight of the bigger picture, the why behind all of this. At the end of the day, technology is a tool that can help us achieve something really important: better access to justice for everyone. It's about making the legal system more efficient, more equitable for everyone. Let that purpose guide you.
That is a powerful message to end on. It feels like we've only scratched the surface of this incredibly exciting and rapidly evolving field, but hopefully this deep dive has given you a good foundation, some inspiration, and maybe even some concrete steps to start your own legal tech journey. A huge thank you to our expert for sharing such incredible insights with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. And to all of you listening, thank you for joining us on the deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those important questions.